I just want to give a shout out to Petty Tupac TV. Make sure you go smash, like, and don't forget to subscribe. For real, for real.
What up, though? You already know how I go. Smash, like, subscribe, comment. I don't care what you comment as long as you comment. You dig. I'm here with my cousin. I told y'all about him a while ago, man. Can you introduce yourself? Your name, how long you was locked up, and where you from?
My name Dale Byrd. I normally in prison known as BB, Byrd Bay. Um, I did 27 and a half years in prison. I just came home like 4 or 5 days ago to a whole new world after 27 and a half years. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, the east side of Detroit, lower east side, known as Black Bottom. Primary stumping grounds was around Shane, McDougal, and Warren area. Speak up. And so that was a very, very grimy area. If you wasn't seeking the title of being the most dangerous, then you was prey. I refused to be a victim. After making bad choices in my response to bullying, I turned to violence. And then I got addicted to it. My whole world became the blocks on the east side, the lower east side. That was the whole world. That was all that mattered to me. And in the streets, what matters is you get money and who fear you. Your respect is going to come from the people that fear you. So violence was my primary form of seeking that respect. I had sisters and a mom over there, and I never wanted nobody to even think about crossing them. So I made statements. Statements in the form of violence. Lots of gun violence, knife violence. I did a lot of things in the street because my goal was to be known as a beast. And when you want to be known as a beast, an animal, then you're going to take on those traits because you want to be the king of the jungle. I wanted to be the king in the streets in the aspect of fear. He's known as being an animal. He's a monster. Don't cross him. Don't cross his family. Nothing. Period. However, everybody can bleed. Anybody can get it. So you keep your bounds of your area away from how you get your money. Mine was robbery. So I didn't rob the guys in the hood. That's just not acceptable. We had respect. It was a lot of fear there, but I took my business outside the hood. My biggest mistake from a street sense, honestly, is I took somebody with me. And on the street level, I regret that because I paid for it. Because statements is powerful, and they can get you life bits in prison. I came down originally with 25 to 50. And because of the time I came down, I only really had to do like 18 off of that. But I came into prison with the street mentality, and I came to MR, and back then the old Michigan Reformatory was a bloodbath. And you either go survive or you go sink. Rate was high, I was young, and I wasn't about to be nobody victim. So the best friend I came up with immediately was a knife. And after I got my first taste of the knife or the guy cutting into me on some sexual stuff, it was on and popping for then. My mentality was they either go catch me with it, but they'd never catch me without it. And it didn't matter if we was in a chow hall. It didn't matter where we was at. If you got out of line with me, you was getting it. Police, prisoners, it didn't matter. That's just the mentality that I had.
Now, before you go on, I want to backtrack a little bit or whatnot. That was good, though. Now, let's go back. Are you familiar with the term jumping off the porch? The day you got introduced to the streets. How old was you when you got introduced to the streets?
10.
10 years old?
10 years old.
And what made you turn towards the streets? Like, what was going on at home?
Well,
like
my mom was an alcoholic. So there was a lot of problems in the house. My older sister turned to drugs, and people tried taking advantage of her. I was young, I was little, I didn't really know what to do. So a lot of times I would just walk the streets. And then I started seeing a lot of things in the hood about paying attention to who's getting the respect, why they getting respect. Oh, he just drew a dude in the back of the alley and beat him with a bat. Oh, he just caught dude at the parking lot and then shot him in the car. Okay, I get it. If you want that respect, then you got to be violent.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my sister's boyfriends tried smacking her up in the house, and my mom told him to leave. He said, I ain't leaving nowhere till I'm done and ready.
And how old was you at this time?
I was like 11.
Okay.
So he pushed my mom, and something just triggered in me. So I grabbed my aluminum bat. And then he asked me a question. He said, little nigga, what you gonna do with that? And I hit him straight in the head, hard as I can. And when he stumbled back and fell through the door window, because it was like a picture glass window, he fell through there. He was a big guy. He was bigger than me. I got really excited and scared at the same time. But then I said, I'm not finna let him get up. And something just triggered at me, and I just kept hitting him until he finally stumbled through the broken window and ran. So after that, I realized that, okay, if I'm going to do anything to protect the women in this house, all that talking and, hey, can you please do this and please do that, that didn't work. Now, he come back. He came back with a couple of guys. So at this time, I had got hold to a 2.5 pistol. Got taught how to use it in the parking lot. In a vacant lot, I mean. So when they came, you know, these grown men. I'm only 11. We had put plastic on the door. Duct tape. Looked ghetto as hell. So they banging on the door. Bring that little bitch ass nigga out here. I didn't go out there. I shot all 7 shots through that plastic. I hit 2 of them, and the rest of them ran. And since then, I was like, no matter what, I'm gonna protect this house, because I gotta be the man of the house at 11. And trying to figure that out was just crazy. But school stopped mattering. I would go, didn't go. If I go, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for other pistols. I'm looking for ways to make money. Stealing cars. I started off with trying to steal cars, but that just wasn't my thing. So I did my first robbery. I did my first robbery on the block. Some other blocks I won't name. And I was on a bike. And I happened to ride up on this guy because he was fresh. When I say fresh, he had gear on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that kind of gear. I wanted it. My type of gear back then was like airbrush, starter jackets, fitted hats, airbrush, all Detroit stuff on it, east side, always representing where you at, khakis outfits, and I loved shell toes Adidas. Loved them. I wanted a Dickie outfit and a pair of shell toes to match, and I wanted a different starter jacket, airbrush, from 7 Days, with all my Detroit East Side stuff on it, because I'm trying to create an image. I'm trying to show them, yeah, I'm young and I'm on a bike, but you can get it. Believe that. So anyway, I end up pulling up on this guy. He came out the store. He was talking to somebody smoking a cigarette. I didn't have my real system down on how I'm gonna pull off these robberies. I just parked my bike, walked up to him, put the gun in his face, and told him to turn his pockets inside out. He thought I was playing till I shot him in the shoulder. Then I went in his pockets and I took all his money. Got on my bike, shot back to the hood.
All right, now growing up, like I told y'all, this is my cousin, whatever. I just remember from doing black flips and coming over or whatnot, real gymnastic. But can you tell us about the situation where you allegedly or did firebomb a store and you went to Maxie's?
Yeah, so it was this air stove on the block. And I grew to have a real dislike for them because of my conflict and experience with them, especially in the stores. I just took and just painted everybody with a broad picture because I was young. I was in the streets. That's just what we did. And so, my mother, who's deaf, she went down to the store, and I think she was trying to purchase something or cash a check. And so this person either tried to keep more of her money or he was disrespectful. And I think I remember that lady pushed my mom, pushing her out the store. And so when my little brother came and told me that, I said, all right, as soon as the sun go down, I'm going to burn that stove to the ground. So I filled up a bunch of old English 64-ounce bottles that I went and collected through the alleys. And I filled up a gasoline can because I learned how to make Molotov cocktails. So,
and how old were you at this time?
I was like, I think I was like 14 or 15.
God, where'd you learn how to make Molotov cocktails at?
Oh, just being with the guys, and we just experimented on how to make stuff blow up and explode.
Okay.
So after I did that, I wanted a big explosion. So I had a 410 gauge shotgun. So I carried the bottles down there. I got everything set up. I go down there and I opened up the door, and they used to have these shells with like barbecue lighter fluid and all that type of stuff right there. So I shot that. I was trying to make it spread everywhere. And then I lit the cocktail and I threw it in there. I lit the other one and threw it in there. I crowbarred the door and I went around the back because at that time my goal was to kill everybody that ran out that back door for disrespecting my mom. But the explosion wasn't really effective, and I don't know how the hell the police end up here. I end up hearing sirens so fast and nobody ran out the back door, so I took off. And then later the next day, they came and kicked in my mom's door and I got arrested for it. Now I'm talking about at a dark area, so in my opinion, the people that was across the street who was supposed to have been hood, I believe they dropped a dime because they was cool with these people, I believe, So anyway, I ended up going to Maxie for that, and I spent 2 years in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was out a short time later, killed somebody, and went to prison for murder.
Okay, we gonna get into that. In your time in Maxie's, was this your first time in like any youth facilities like that?
No, I had been to the youth home many times. But it was just a regular in out thing. And it's a difference there. You don't have a lot of knives. You didn't have a lot of knives back then. You just had to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So it was going to happen because if you didn't fight, you was going to be in trouble.
Were guys picking on you or anything like that, trying you? Or
Well, yeah, they always go try you in the youth home. Always.
Yeah.
So because I'm not 6'6", 300 pounds at the time, I'm a little scrawny kid, but they don't know I got a lot in me. So when people would try me, I don't care where we was at. We about to get it in right then and there. Win, lose, or draw. I don't care if you got a bunch of people or it's just you. We about to get it in, and I'm gonna give it to the person I can get to.
Facts. Now you did go to prison. You did 27 years. You came down with 25. Originally, with good time, you had to do 18. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you experienced some trouble inside of prison.
Yes.
Can you tell us what you caught your, I believe, 2 cases for in prison?
My 2 cases was for serious assaults on staff. I had a problem with authority.
Mm-hmm.
I resisted at every turn, and in their thing is they want you to march to their beat no matter what, how you feeling or anything like that. And if you say or do anything they don't like, then they try to press on you. So I resisted, and my resistance was with violence. So I had no problem fighting them, a group of them, or however they want to bring it. And in my mind, I knew, hey, this is a losing battle. But it was just something in me where I felt I couldn't back down. I couldn't walk away. Because if I walk away, they go perceive me as weak. That's what I used to think at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I caught those cases, because, you know, when you get physical with them, you know, sometimes there's a struggle, a snatch away. Mine wasn't like that. I went at them with the intention to seriously hurt people.
So your first one, what year was that? Was it 97?
It was 99.
Okay. What happened with that incident? Can you walk us through it?
So I was in a library. I had this letter from this chick I had wrote. And for whatever reason, this officer was an asshole. And so an asshole meeting an asshole is going to be a turmoil situation. So he came up to me and said, give me a shakedown. I said, for what? Even though they can ask you for a shakedown whenever they want. I'm in the library. I'm like, I haven't done nothing. I'm trying to go get some books. And so he snatched the letter out of the book. I mean, out of the papers I had in my hand. He snatched the letter out. I couldn't take it. So I turned around and I snatched my letter back. And when he went to try to grab me, I punched him. And I didn't stop until they ran up in the library and started, you know, struggling to get me down to the ground.
Did they beat on you afterwards, or just was this?
It's always going to be that. I mean, they're not going to ever admit that. But that's going to happen. Once they get them cuss on you, get you in said, for assault on staff, unlike a real assault on staff, yeah, you finna get some punches and kicks to you. That's a part of it.
Now, your second staff assault, that was what year?
That was 2005.
And what happened with that?
Okay, so I had spent 4.5 years in a Supermax facility because, you know, they just felt like he's too violent, he's unmanageable, he can't have human contact. So they sent me from level 4 straight to a Supermax instead of level 5, which was IMAX at the time. It was level 6. And the way that I got there was from the first assault, was from that assault in the library. I got out of there November 2004, and I had been witnessing so much abuse by them and being subject to it myself that I was full of a lot of anger, a lot of rage, and I ended up getting released because I started laying back. I'm realizing like it ain't really nothing I could do because you don't come out of your cell without cuffs and ankle shackles on and a dog chain from the back. Exactly. You have no way to do nothing. You could try to headbutt, you could try to spit. They'll put a nasty spit bag over your head, all kind of crazy stuff. I wasn't finna be through that. So I ended up going to JCF. But I was in level 4. These officers in level 4 had a psychotic way of talking to people, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm not used to that. I wasn't into the slip game. You know, I didn't play the homosexual talk and all that stuff like that. So one of them talked to me like that, and I told him, listen, man, I'm going to tell you one time, don't talk to me like that. So he told me, I don't like your fucking attitude. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you like. So it was store day, and something was wrong with my bag. This same officer was working. And so I came back down there out the room like, hey, something missing out my bag, something wrong with my bag. He told me to get my ass back to the room. I said, who the fuck is you talking to? Mm-hmm. So he got louder and more disrespectful, and I got closer and more resistant. So then he went to telling me to turn around, put my hands behind my back, and I started hitting on him. I started punching him because I know where this finna go. So if I'm gonna go to SEG, I'm gonna go to SEG for a reason. That was my mentality back then. And at that time, I still had a lot of rage from what I experienced being in the Supermax. And I think at that time, like, I wasn't real used to being around so many people because I had been with no human contact for those years at IMAX, and everything was condensed there, And I'm panicking and sweating in the chow hall. I'm like, I'm not staying here. I'm leaving because people sitting too close to me. I don't know what they thinking. I don't know what they up to. I mean, it was just a lot of mental disruption going on at that time. I just got dropped there instead of put into a slow walk down program where you get readjusted to being around people. So that's what led up to my second case.
Now, 27 years in prison. You ever thought about suicide? Don't be offended at any of the questions that I ask you. It's just they want to know this stuff. This is what they on here for. All 20,000 of them.
I didn't think that there was going to be an out for me at one point in time. So I had thought about a plan of grabbing an officer on the yard with a blade, with a burner, a banger, a knife. Dragging that officer to the middle of the yard until they responded with like the ERT team. When they respond with that, they probably go respond. They more than likely go respond with them rifles on the roofs and things like that. So I had thought in my mind, okay, this is how I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna stab him in the neck, and I'm gonna keep stabbing him until they kill me. That was gonna be my out, because I was just in a real disturbed mind state at that time, and this was a plan I was formulating how I wanted to go out. I didn't want to go out by hanging myself or cutting on myself. I wasn't into that. I felt that was weak. I'm like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna take one of them with me, and that was the thought I was having at the time.
That's deep. Well, with that long, I know they want me to ask you this. Have you ever thought about homosexuality, or have you ever participated in it, or whatever it may be?
Absolutely not. Because once you cross that road, you will never, ever be looked at as a straight up man again. Ever. Never. So I wasn't into that. Wasn't about to cross that line. I just kept it good. Kept it hood.
Those thoughts never cross your head going in there like, damn, I'm in here forever. I might as well make it the best I can.
No. My only thoughts was knocking off a female CO if it come to it.
Okay. Hey, that's I definitely wanted to hear. When you first came down, did guys try to instantly like recruit you to gangs or
gangs wasn't really heavy like that. It was more hood stuff. East side, west side, north end, stuff like that. Southwest, Highland Park, those were the type of stuff that was going on. You had some gangs like Counts, G's, stuff like that, but the things that happened many years later with like Bloods and Crips and the host of the other names, that just wasn't on the yard thick like that. So no, I never got recruited, none of that. I just found the young East Side guys, and we went to reminiscing about streets, and that's where I was at.
Exactly. Can you take me to your first time using a knife? What was you thinking? What was going on? What was the situation? The first time ever using a blade.
It's crazy because you just asked me about homosexuality. So my first time using a blade, right, was a guy cut into me. Told me I like what I see. I'm like, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? And I see him looking me up and down, so I just straight get out the shower, don't rest off nothing. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I'm like, this dude is a big guy, man. And I'm a little dude, young, just came in. So I happened to cut into one of the guys next door to me that was an East Side cat. I flat out asked him, hey, listen, this the situation, but I gotta make a name right now. You got anything I can use? And he gave me a banger. He said, whatever you do, don't drop it. Don't let them get a hold of your hand. When you go down there, you look, you make sure that he doing something where he don't see you coming. So I did that. I strapped up, went down there. And I just cruised by because you could kind of see in the showers before you get there. It just so happened he turned around and he kind of like soaping up his head and everything. And I just ran in there and I stabbed him in the back of the neck, and I just kept stabbing it. Even though it was dick and nuts turning around, flying wet, I didn't give a damn. I'm slipping, he's slipping. I wasn't about to stop and let this dude get a hold of me, period. So when he started trying to crawl under the shower dividers, I'm stabbing him in the leg, I'm stabbing him in the foot, I'm crawling up under there with him until the big officer pulled me off of him and twisted my arm back, made me drop the blade, handcuffed me and everything like that. Now here's the kicker part about it. I get to the hole. This guy was a known homosexual predator, but most guys locked up, meaning they went to PC. Mm-hmm. So one of the lieutenants pulled up on my cell. He said, "I gotta give you props, young dog, because you the first person that I'm in the hole." I could have got a lot worse case if it was the way prison started to becoming when they was prosecuting you all the time, but I didn't. I think I stayed in the hole like 5 days. Ticket mysteriously disappeared. Going back to your block. Damn. Then I cut into my guy. I said, "Listen, I need some ice picks because they'll never catch me with them, but I'm not gonna be caught slipping without them." That was my motto.